Alright, this is a full moon reading for Gemini. Um, this is the wolf full moon, and it's going to be on January 25th in the sign Leo around noontime. You might not be able to see the moon around that time, but it's going to be noontime, all that. So it's going to be focusing on self reflection, inner power, transformation, and protection. So you might have a little bit of a stir at 12:54. You know. Okay, so your card is going to be express yourself. You've been blending in for far too long. You're more than ready to strut your stuff. Express your artistic drive. Uh, Picasso bug. All right. So this card's going to help us with the rest of the reading because I channeled most of it. So the card is just a device. All right. So, what is the greatest inner strength that you have? We have relieves and rejuvenates self or others. So, let's see. Taking too loving to commit, or taking too long to commit. I feel like you might kind of be one of these mercurial pixie people that they talk about in the movies. So you might constantly feel like there's something better for you out there, or you're always looking for somebody, or you might be looking for something that would indulge your interests, okay? Um, Usually it doesn't happen. But you're willing to look for it, which is fine. So you might get married when you're like 40, which isn't bad. Um, one of my cousins got married when he was 40, and my grandmother and grandfather got married when they were 40. So life doesn't start when you're 20. Let's just put it to you that way. Life starts when you feel like it. But yeah, you're just going to constantly look until you find something that's worthwhile for your situation or how you feel about yourself, which is good. So how can you step into your own power is number 2. So there's divorce and reaching goals, which is funny. I feel like you might be divorcing somebody in your current situation, and then you're trying to reach your goals as a single independent person, or you might be looking for a different relationship altogether that makes you feel more like you're going to reach your goals. Um, you know, some people propel us to do crazy shit. Um, so we have what traits can you more celebrate about yourself? We have a strong foundation. You do have an ego about you, which is a problem for some people, but it depends on who you're trying to attract, really. A lot of times, Leos like people with strong egos. Um, a lot of my boyfriends didn't have egos. They had the absence of ego, but they were masculine. They had manly traits, or they had manly interests, or they had their own, like, muscle machismo type of events that they like to engage in, like LARP or video game tournaments, outbesting, people, which is cool. I grew up around video games because my mother was, working 4, 6 jobs, and my father was abusive and also a terror reader and a somewhat of a warlock, I think. But yeah, anyway, anything that's crazy and obnoxious, you have to know what you can deal with. You know, you can't always like just fall for the okie doke and then feel like that's okay to like accept because that's how the person is. If you can accept that person for what they do and who they are as a person, then that's fine. But you have to also have somewhat of an interest in what they're interested in for it to work. That's why the best friend ecosystem works better in a relationship and a marriage than like just kind of falling, submissive to somebody else's behavior. Um, you can tell I've been watching a lot of Puffy Combs conspiracy. But I might do something with a mystery that was with Puff Daddy, or in the early 90s. It was a very weird conspiracy that I found out when I was doing some other readings that were unrelated. But there's some type of mystery that keeps coming up, and with my cards, they always want to solve mysteries and find people. There's somebody that fell off the face of the earth in the Puffy Combs documentations that I'm just like trying to find. Okay, so if you know who it is, and but if you don't, then I'll get to that probably in February or March. But yeah, it's kind of a thing that was like, it really weirded me out that this person was like there at the beginning, and then like they disappeared. They weren't part of like a record or anything, but they were an artist. So I'm gonna do that. And guess what? Here's the best part. There's in your where can you take bigger risks? It says there's a court case. Either you're going through a court case with a divorce, or a court case about, different things, or maybe you're watching the Puff Daddy court cases. Listen, if you get into that, it's crazy. That whole thing is crazy. Like there's two timelines I'm working with. So the person in question is like, this is a big deal, okay? And it's like, if I can find this person, that'd be great. I think they go by a different name. But if you know what I'm saying, like, you'll see this person in the timeline, and then they kind of like drop off. Like, they're not dead. They just drop off. And I was just like, that's so crazy. Anyway, there's also peeling away layers. You might be deep diving with me, which will be great. But if you're not, you're deep diving into your own ambitions, which is good. I think everybody should have their own ambitions and look at their own activities. And if you're like a crime buff, there's a Reddit group called, I think it's Crime Buffs. I'm not sure what it is. But like, we all watch like the crime TV stuff, and then like do like book reports about it, which I think is cute. But like, there's people on there that can actually do the same things that I do, but without like intuitive nature, like just by finding records and evidence and stuff, which I think is impressive. Like, finding the evidence to anything is like, hard. Because if you're a civilian, you don't have like the ability to get those records or anything. But Reddit seems to get those for solving cases and things, which I think is cool. So, Gemini, hopefully you're going to be able to express yourself in a logical way. And if you're going through a divorce, I'm sorry for your divorce, but hopefully you do something nice for yourself. Because with divorces, my parents went through a divorce, and everything gets like torn in half. Like, where there would be a pair of people, there's one side and then there's the other side. So depending on if you have kids or not, that could be detrimental to their upbringing and development, to add another person to that, even if it's a good thing. So think about that. And also, if there is any form of drug use. I know my father was into a lot of kind of gay parties. But yeah, you have to understand that a lot of divorces and a lot of turns of events in your own life will set you back a lot of money and a lot of ambition in your own life. Okay? Because you gave your ambition to the person that you married. Okay? And if that person kind of cheated or did whatever, it becomes a stigma in your own relationship and how you see yourself. Okay, so you're going to have to rebuild, which is going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight, and you can't force it, because it's going to hit you in the worst possible way if you try to force it. Okay, so take some time to yourself. Do something nice. meditate, take a course, get something that you always wanted to do out of the way, whether it be education or, work, and become more ambitious in stuff that you can control at the moment. You can't control your relationships or where you're going in life too fast after a divorce. So just give yourself time. I think a lot of people try to force things and then they're not healed all the way and it becomes an issue. Okay? So you have to heal from that. Even if it's a breakup, you have to heal. You can't just jump into another relationship because those problems will be translated into the next relationship you have, and you don't want that. You want to be a full person that's a functional individual, okay? Hopefully. Some people aren't, ever, so, just be careful with that too. Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. And again, FYI, I get it. But I feel like you're going through a lot. You're going through a lot of things yourself. Or you could be exploring the Puffy Combs cases, the chronicles. I was like, this dude needs to stop putting his hands on people. But yeah, it's just like, and it makes sense. I mean, Puff Daddy's father like passed away when he was a kid, and then he was introduced to a lot of things that were odd. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, he could have grown from that and actually became, somewhat of functional. But anyway, let's not get too ahead of ourselves because all his cases are weird. Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. Take care of yourself. Take care of everyone. I'll see you later, okay? Bye.